Okay, so let's clear this key press history. We're going to find some maximums and minimums, or maxima and minima, depending on which plural you prefer, and also some zeros of a function. So let's look at y equals, so I want x cubed, so there's no to the power of 3 button, so we need the caret, and 3x squared. Okay, so we know where the zeros of this are. I'm sure you know where the zeros are. So let's see what the graph looks like. Okay, so this is, we can't see the bottom here, so if we wanted to know what the minimum of this was, it's off the charts, as it were. So let's go to zoom, and let's see what zoom 6 looks like. Okay, that certainly has all the salient points on it. So let's say we want to find this point where it crosses 0. We know what it is. We should know what it is. It's x equals 3. But we can get the calculator to tell us that. And sometimes it's not so easy to find. So this will be helpful. So in order to do that, you go into Calc. And what do we want to calculate? The 0. So number 2. Good. And now it asks you the left bound, because there's 2 zeros here. There's this one and this one. So it wants to know which one you want to know. So the left bound would be somewhere close on the left of this 0. So that's pretty good. So you hit enter, and then it'll ask you the right bound. Okay, that's one tick over, so I suppose that's the best I can do. And I'll hit enter, and then it asks me to guess. Well, I guess I know exactly what it is, but I'm going to guess 3.1 just so it has to do some work. Okay, and then you hit enter, and it'll very quickly tell you that the 0 is x equals 3. Okay, so that's sort of a neat thing. In this case, you could have done it algebraically, but now you've done it with the calculator. So you had very little thinking to do other than how to get the calculator to do it. So now let's say we want to find this minimum point, which is something we'll learn how to do with calculus soon. But for now, let's see how to do it with the calculator. So again, you go second calc, and we want to find the minimum. And again, it asks you the left bound, so we have to go to the left of the minimum. It looks like we're on our way back up there. Good. Give it a little bit more room, maybe, just to make sure. And you hit enter. And then the right bound, well, let's go to the other side of the minimum. So just tuck up there. Enter, and then it asks me for a guess. I'll guess, 2.25, I guess. Hey, I really do guess. How about that? 2.25, enter, and it'll quickly tell me the minimum is 1.9999 and negative 4. So that's a rounding error by the calculator, actually. It's exactly 2. So if you suspect it's exactly 2, and it tells you there's 1.99, what should you do? Well, you should go back and guess 2 and see if it tells you it's 2. So second calc, minimum. Now let's try this again. So left bound over here somewhere. I suppose it's possible that the answer is 1.999999, but somehow seems unlikely. So our guess is x equals 2, and now it tells us that the answer is in fact x equals 2. Okay, so calculators do things using heuristics. So just because it says it's 1.9999, it just means that its estimation is not great. Okay, so later we'll learn how to find that exactly, and we won't need a calculator to do that. All right, so another thing we can do is graph another function. So let's just graph a line here. So go down to number 2, and 2 variable minus 1 graph. Okay, so we want to know what the intersection points of this are. So one way to find, let's try to find, say, this intersection point, the positive one that's closer to 0. So we'll go to second calc, intersect, which is 5. First curve, well, it's showing us y1, so that's good. That's what we want. Second curve, it's showing us our other curve, and it asks us to guess, and so I'm going to guess 0.5, so 0.5, because it looks like that might be the correct thing, and hit enter, and it will tell me that the intersection is in fact this decimal number that I don't recognize. So maybe you do. I don't. Okay, so the other way to find zeros, which is, to find intersections is perhaps a bit nicer, and that is, so go back to y equals. Now, if you go to the equal sign, and you see how it's flashing now, I hit enter, and now it's no longer highlighted. And I'm going to do the same thing to this one. No longer highlighted. And I'm going to make y3. I'm going to make this into a function, but I'm going to build this function out of 2 previous functions. So you go to vars, and then you go to yvars, and then you hit function. Okay, now, why you would know to do that, I don't know, but I do know how to do that, and I'm telling you. So, there, y1. So that's the function y1, and you can see on my graphing window it's already graphed that one, but I don't just want y1, I want y1 minus y2. So I go back to vars, yvars, function, and then y2. Okay, so I'm going to graph that. Great. Okay, so now the difference between these two things, so the intersection of y1 and y2 will be where the difference is 0. So now I can find the 0 of this graph, and that will tell me where the other 2 graphs intersected. Make sense? No? Well, just rewind and play me saying that again. So we'll go to calc, 0, so that's 2, and then left down 0, that's fine with me, and then right down, I'll just cruise on over here. I'm on the negative side now, so that's fine, and my guess, 0.3. Well, I saw what it was before, so I remember it was something like that. Okay, and now the answer is this, which is exactly what it was before. Great. Okay, so that's how you find intersections.